Between high-profile committee meetings, a marathon floor session, and the release of the February budget and economic forecast, it was a busy week for members of the House. On Wednesday, the House Public Safety and Criminal Justice Reform Finance and Policy Division approved House File 8, the so-called Uniform Criminal Background Check Bill. Representative Dave Pinto sponsors the proposal that would, in part, require the state to conduct background checks for most private firearm transfers.
Members, we can do more to keep guns out of the hands of people who have proven themselves to be dangerous, and at the same time uphold the rights of those many responsible and law-abiding gun owners.
Republicans said that they support reducing gun violence, but the measure would be ineffective.
You're trying to solve a problem that's already illegal, Representative Pinto. People selling a bag of guns behind the gas and sip in exchange for drugs or cash or something like that, that's what you're trying to solve. That's already illegal. People purposely going down the road of a straw purchase, that's already illegal.
Many people both for and against the proposed legislation testified before the committee. After a lengthy discussion, House File 8 was approved as amended on a 9-7 party line vote and sent to the House Ways and Means Committee.
Yes.
The discussion continued at Thursday's public safety meeting when the division approved House File 9, Representative Ruth Richardson's red flag bill. Richardson's proposal would create a procedure to petition for an extreme risk protection order that would remove firearms from people deemed at risk of harming themselves or others. Representative Brian Johnson opposed the proposal, saying the bill would violate Second Amendment rights and deny due process to the person whose firearms are taken away.
I'm going to ask everybody not to support this bill because it does not do what it's intended to do. It's hurting people and not helping the people it's designed to help.
The division approved House File 9 as amended on a 10-7 party line vote and was moved to the House Ways and Means Committee. Minnesota Management and Budget released its February budget and economic forecast on Thursday. The state's economic outlook has weakened since November. The projected balance for the upcoming biennium is just over $1 billion, which is roughly $490 million less than the November forecast.
Our forecast has been lowered today because we've reduced our revenue projections over the next 4 years. We made this reduction to revenue projections because, number one, we were forecasting a reduction in economic growth in the future, and number two, we have seen a reduction in actual revenue receipts since November.
Both DFL and Republican leaders reacted to the news following the forecast projections.
Well, it's clear that the shortage in the workforce has started to constrain our future economic growth. So you know that the House DFL caucus is really invested in doing those things that will improve Minnesotans' quality of life. And I think after seeing the budget forecast, we'll be doubling down on policies that are important to keep Minnesotans in the workforce, like improving childcare access, paid family leave, earned safe and sick time. We have a very high labor force participation in Minnesota, but we have to do all those things that we can to make that labor participation rate even higher.
Obviously, I think this was something that folks unfortunately were somewhat expecting based on the actual revenues that we had seen come in since the November forecast. We'd lost about $400 million worth of projected revenue just since November. I'm actually surprised this isn't worse. When you look at where the losses are, it's pretty easy to see that it's income tax. And it's pretty easy to see that it's the high income earners who are now moving their income out of state. And I know Governor Dayton assured us that this would never happen, but the reality is the chickens are coming home to roost on the governor's tax increases.
On Thursday, the House met for the third floor session of the week. It was the first lengthy floor session of the year, clocking in at just under 9 hours, with a 2-hour recess mixed in. During the recess, the House Transportation Finance and Policy Division heard testimony and approved a proposal that would allow a person to obtain a driver's license or Minnesota ID card without demonstrating proof of legal immigration status. House Majority Leader Ryan Winkler sponsors House File 1500. The DFLer from Golden Valley told the division why he sponsors the proposal.
The bill, in total, creates a driver's license. It does not affect voting. It does not affect real ID or enhanced driver's licenses. It creates an opportunity for people who live and work and contribute to our communities to drive safely to and from work. And it is time for this bill to pass. It has been far too long in coming.
The division heard emotional testimony from many testifiers in support of the proposed legislation. Several spoke to how it would make roads safer and the state a more humane place to live if undocumented immigrants were able to obtain driver's licenses. The Transportation Division approved the bill as amended Thursday night and re-referred it to the House Ways and Means Committee. The House reconvened to pass two bills off the floor Thursday evening. House File 476, a bill that would eliminate family exclusions in certain insurance policies, passed with a 70 to 54 vote. Representative Zach Stevenson sponsors the proposal and argued that his bill would help some people by prohibiting boat and personal umbrella insurance policies from limiting liability for damages because the injured person is a member of the named insured's family. Opponents countered that the exclusion has been upheld by state courts and that striking it would result in higher prices for insurance coverage.
This bill, if anybody's got a bingo card, it's not ready for prime time.
This bill is the Obamacare of boat insurance. If you like your health insurance premiums, you're going to love the results of this on your boat insurance.
It was just before midnight when the House approved House File 861, Representative Rick Hansen's proposal that would provide nearly $16 million in deficiency funding for further fixes to the Minnesota license and registration system known as MNLARS. After much debate, House File 861 passed on an 89 to 33 vote. The legislation would also provide $10 million in aid for deputy registrars, the roughly 170 local DMV offices across the state that took a financial hit dealing with the malfunctioning system. House Minority Leader Kurt Doudt voted in favor of the proposal, but shared his caucus's perspective with the body.
The Republican position on this bill would be that we don't want money to go to MNLARS. We think it's a waste. We think MNLARS has been a complete failure, and we don't want to put any more money into it. But we do want to support our deputy registers. We think we should give them some money to make up for the fact that they have been negatively impacted by this horrible system of MNLARS.
For more nonpartisan coverage of the Minnesota House of Representatives, check out our Session Daily coverage on the House website, www.house.mn/sessiondaily.